Hey guys, welcome back to Chunk Chat. Today I have Maikeru with me. He has an extreme OneChunk Ironman called Sir Camelock.
Hello, I'm a nerd. I play RuneScape too much. I played RuneScape 3 for like 7 years full time, 6 years full time, 7 years content creation, and now I'm old school, and I'm enjoying old school more at the moment.
Nice. Awesome to hear. So you have an extreme OneChunk Ironman as well, and you started in Camelot. Made you start in Camelot. What was the allure behind Camelot?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to start because it doesn't have anything itself, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, why would you start there when there's like no chunk task set for starting Merlin's Crystal? It was more so I was on the Inferno grind on my group Ironman, and I had to do a bit of prep, and I wanted to get like a couple of items before, so I needed to do a bunch of cocks to get a dex scroll. I wanted to get like holy sandals and stuff, which is a bunch of mediums.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted something AFK to do to start the account, and I didn't want to just like start in Catherby. I didn't want to just start in Sears, but like I wouldn't mind either of them. So I kind of thought that if I start somewhere and let the chunk picker take me there, it's a bit more enjoyable. And then also I can like make a fun name with Camelot. So
Mm-hmm.
I can have a surname like Sir K or Surprising or whatever. And I just kind of went with Camelot and then let the chunk picker take the reins, and it took me to Catherby. So then we started with a big long fishing grind that took like 200 hours while I was doing like my cocks and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing you in the clan chat before I knew who you were, and I was like, that's a cool name. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, it's a fun. I think names stick with people a decent amount, so to have like a memorable name is pretty useful, and then it also can link into the character's progression arc type thing. So if I'm doing everything around Camelot, I'm not necessarily locked to Camelot, but like it makes sense to have a name like that because you're in that area, right? It's like Cox Chunk, right? You know
Yeah,
what that person is doing and where they are, so it's useful.
yeah. People who don't know me know what a chunk is, so yeah, people will walk
Yeah.
up to me all the time and ask, if I'm a chunk account. So it is nice to have a name that people can kind of assess what you're doing with. So that does help. But
Hmm.
have you had any other cool names on any of your other accounts?
I used to just do Aru in different ways, so it was less fun. I did have like Eurecium, which is Maikeru backwards. That was my 10 HP pure on RS3.
Mm,
Then I had like Unlockaroo, which was pretty much like leagues where I'd unlock different areas as I progressed in like levels and stuff.
yeah.
Then I had uh, Iron Roo, and then I made a second hardcore man, and I called it Iron 2. Like
Yeah.
just little silly things.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I agree with the name recognition. Definitely helps out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Camelot, very easy chunk, but around it, a lot of pretty long, difficult grinds. So, did you ever think that you'd get to Witch Haven so quickly?
No, I didn't think I'd be stuck with the smoldering stone before I was stuck with like wood cutting or fletching or fire making or something. Kind
Hmm.
of funny that that's how it all played out, but I think it actually added to the fun of my starting videos because I had to then find a unique way to unlock stuff like woodcutting, and then I could build like a video around unlocking woodcutting and build a video around X, Y, and Z and improving the account. So it worked pretty well. I'm happy that it went the way it did because if I just instantly rolled Sears Village, then you're just doing forestry, right? So it's not quite as fun as getting all the food you need, then going somewhere where you have to kill a bunch of monsters like curved bone and smoldering stone and whatever, and then finding a fun way to save time by spending time elsewhere, aka like woodcutting for me with the fletching and stuff.
Yeah, I really like how you unlock the smaller stone, and then you're like, let's add like 399s to this as well. Fuck it.
Yeah, I won't be My goal is to leave the chunk by the end of the year,
Mhm.
but I play a lot, so I reckon it's probably going to take me about 100 days played in total to escape the chunk, and I rolled this chunk at 9 days played. So
Yeah, a lot of
yeah, I'm
time.
gonna be in it for a while. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like a 2,200 hour chunk or something.
Yeah, a little bit of RNG involved too. It's kind of nice
Yeah,
because you could
that's
go dry. Who
scary
knows?
though, right?
Yeah.
It is scary that I could go dry, but um, it it has the trade off of you could get lucky, right? Like you said,
Mhm.
so it doesn't feel so bad knowing that I could go dry because I can know that I could go lucky as well, and I get the fun of solving hard clues very rarely, every 10,000 hellhound kills or something. So I get a
Wow.
little bit of fun stuff
Mhm.
mixed in, but yeah, at least I'm not stuck in my chunk for as long as you.
That's true. Yeah, I kind of did it to myself though. So
Yeah,
on
you
me.
you chose that way. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's a fun chunk to be stuck in, so I really can't complain.
yeah. I
Raiding.
like Cox is a good raid. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so your group Ironman kind of popped off. Is there anything that you haven't done in old school that you'd like to do in old school?
I guess like Colosseum and like
Mm.
Awakened bosses, but I don't really see myself doing the Awakened bosses on an Iron Man that easy. I'd have to farm a lot of the Awakener's orbs, right? So
Yeah.
uh I don't know whether that's like something that I'll really do anytime soon at least, but I'll
Hmm.
probably go for a quiver at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a pretty fun challenge. I mean, it didn't take you that long to do Inferno. I'm guessing some skills from R3 also transfer to old school, so um it's not like crazy surprising that you come to old school and you were able to do that pretty quickly, but still pretty impressive. I'm sure you could get a quiver too.
Yeah, well, everyone says like obviously the quiver's harder, but you have less waves, so it's easier to practice type thing, right? Because you
Yeah.
could get to Zuck and you're spending a 1.5, 2 hours to get there and then just dying to like healers or something, and you're like, ah, and then you have to do it again.
Hmm.
So it's definitely annoying in that regards, but it's also fun in those regards because it's like an endurance and it's like a mental test at that point. So yeah, I wasted so many hours just getting to Zuck and dying. I think I got Zuck on my like fifth attempt of him, but obviously every time that's like 10 hours of getting to Zug, let alone anything that I done before that. So yeah, it definitely takes its toll. But it was fun. I would say stuff like Inferno on old school is so much better than RS3 because RS3 all the spawns are static. So
Hmm.
it's like really boring. You just stand in the exact same place every single time, and you know where the monsters are spawning, where they'll get stuck, you know, how to separate them, how to kill them easily. And the Jads can all be attacked at different times. You don't have to tank all three in RS3. Like it's just a lot less fun,
Hmm.
and I definitely enjoyed it a lot more on old school. I'm not the biggest fan of it in RS3. I've done a decent amount of it just because you kind of have to, but I don't really like it.
Yeah, I'd say old school overall goes for more like randomness type
Mhm.
difficulty than R3.
Yeah, I
um
like that a lot as well. Randomness is fun because it changes every time you do it. So if it's replayability,
mhm.
old school has much better replayability on boss fights because yeah, they have the same mechanics each time, but you don't know when the mechanics coming or like what one it's choosing. And RS3 has a lot of bosses where it's like 1, 2, 3 mechanic, 1, 2, 3 mechanic, and it's the same every time instead of it being like a random pick.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more versatility. You have to be a little bit more mentally aware of what's going on
Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
with that. So you're a little bit of a clue scroll fanatic on RS3?
That's one thing I think RS3 does way better than old school personally
Mm.
is clues. But that's mostly because of the movement system in RS3. Like you have bladed dive and surge and you can like zoom around everywhere, but it's more than just zooming around everywhere. You have to like stand in a specific tile facing a specific way so you can like surge through a corner of a wall and then bladed dive through the other corner of the wall or whatever. So it's more than just you teleport to the closest location and click there and go dig. It's like you teleport to the closest location and do all of these things to get there in like 2 seconds. It's just fun.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It sounds fun.
Yeah. That's like one of the things that RS3 does better. There's not
Yeah.
too many, but that's one of them.
I like blue scrolls in general too, but probably
Hmm.
more so the opening them. But
Definitely.
yeah, I feel like there could be a little bit more to do with actually doing the steps and like RuneLight plugins and stuff kind of make it easy either way. But if there was one thing that you could do to improve blue scrolls on Old School, what would it be?
Yeah, it's very hard to think of something that would improve them because, like, RuneLight kind of does it for you. RS3 has a similar situation with Alt One Toolkit, which like reads the screen and kind of like pretty much instead of you going on the wiki and finding the answers, it just tells you the answer. Uh,
Hmm.
so it's kind of like RuneLight in that regards. It's probably more overpowered than RuneLight for RS3 clues because there's like things that help you with different things. Like scan clues on RS3 have like a radius, and then there's a thing that it puts on your screen as an overlay to show like how far your radius is for when you're running and stuff. It's very overpowered. And I think RuneLight would be the same. Like if they made scan clues in old school instead of it just being the like hot and cold one, but
Yeah.
actually running and seeing the rings underneath of you change color when you get closer and stuff. That's just going to be solved by RuneLight though, because you're going to know where it is, or it's going to have that like radius, etc. So they can't really do too much with clue scrolls that isn't going to be solved by a client or whatever. It's very hard because if you design a cool puzzle, the client's going to solve the puzzle as well, just like it does in
Yeah.
slider clues, right? So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't for clues. Really, I think the only thing would be if I was going to say anything to improve them, it would be have them stackable, but not like RS3 stackable, where you can stack 25 to 50. Have it like unlock with combat achievements or something. Easy combat achievements that lets you stack 2, and then mediums 3, hards 4, etc. And you just can stack up to like 6 with master or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Stackable clues are definitely a hot topic for Old School. I've
Mm,
been kind of against them for a while, to be honest. Um, Seeing as like clues are supposed to be like distraction diversion, but I
yeah.
feel like the system that we have now is pretty flawed. Like the dropping on the ground for an
Yeah,
hour.
the drop in is just a worse stackable.
Yeah, it's stackable. It's just way more complicated and annoying. And
Yeah, definitely.
I think at this point I'd be okay with middle grounds. Like you said, combat achievements, but maybe not combat achievements. Maybe like some clue scroll
Oh, yeah, that's
achievements or
fair.
something like that could unlock
Yeah, like
more.
RS3 has a clue scroll store that you get clue points, and like the higher tier clue you do, the more points it gives you, and you get like bonuses for 10, 25, 50, like kind of
Hmm.
like Slayer Master. That
Yeah.
would work on old school as well, and you have like a clue store that you can buy stuff, and whether that's like clue capacity upgrade, etc. There's another thing you can buy on RS3 that's really cool that is a key, and it's the key for mediums, so you don't have to go kill the thing to get the key. You just go search the thing, and you kind of
Hmm.
like skip that little bit of a step and stuff. So there's like plenty of quality of life items they could add to a store without making it too overpowered, and you have to do clues to unlock it anyway. So yeah, stuff like that would work pretty well. Yeah, I think linking it to clues is better than linking it to combat achievements for sure.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at that point. But another thing with stackable clues too is I don't know how it would work with um if you're looking for particular clue steps. Like obviously like one chunks need to find a clue that's in their area. So I don't know how stackable clues would work with that. Um if you still only have one clue at a time. Um yeah, I don't know how
Oh, it
you would
probably would.
juggle.
Yeah, you would just have to juggle it because on like RS3, for example, the way it works is if you have an opened clue, you can't open one of the stack. But if you drop that open clue, you can then open the stack. So if you were
Okay.
juggling clues, it wouldn't change anything technically, right? Because you would drop the one that's open and then open up the new one. If it's another one that's doable, you drop that as well, and then you keep those on the floor.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that kind of works. It's pretty much the same thing then.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we're currently doing. But yeah, I mean, the 1 hour timer is great for juggling if you're area locked. So
Yeah, it's been lovely for me, especially with the Puro.
yeah,
Having 1 hour mediums means that I can just hunt like a million egg-like dicks to just keep dropping the bad clues one side and keep the ones that are good on the other side, recolor it so that all my good clue steps that I can do are green. And I know, like, oh, that one's on 500 seconds left. Let's rejuggle. And it's so nice.
yeah, that color thing that you figured out was pretty game changing. I think you're the
Yeah, it's
first
really
one
cool, right?
to find that. 'Cause now
Maybe.
I see Frey doing it. I see some other chunkers doing it as well.
I think Phrase is slightly different to what I do because he has like a plugin that does it.
Oh, mm,
Mine is like you right click it and you change it with the like just normal uh changing the color of drops etc with the shift right click. But I
yeah.
think his you put the step into a plugin and then every time that step drops it then does it. It's just two different ways of doing it, but definitely interesting that there's like multiple ways, and I think it's just nice regardless. It's so good when you see that like green clue on the floor. You're like, I can do this
Hmm.
before I even look at it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I've actually started dropping elites and hards on my account because there's one elite clue step that I could do. My odds of completing a clue are terrible with one step, obviously, but I just figured I might as well get the step I could do. It's kill a rock crab, but
Mm.
yeah, might as well just hold on to a doable step.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I calculated like one in um like 50,000 raids. I would get a full elite clue that I could do if I were to do that. So it's pretty unlikely, but you never know. You
Yeah,
see, and then
that's kind of funny that it's that rare. Holy
yeah,
moly.
there's one hard clue step that's not in my chunk, but it's near me that spawns like a Ceradon wizard, and those drop like fire battle staffs,
Oh yeah, true.
and that's something that I want in the future. So I figured I might as well keep that just in case like I roll that chunk before I have to superheat for my smithing. 'Cause that's
Uh
yeah, that's a big potential next grind for me.
yeah, see, I don't know whether I'll allow superheat as a training method. It might just be too much of a meme grind for me because I don't know how easy nature runes are for you, for example, from like Cox and whatever, but it's the nature runes more than the other stuff that makes it like insanely difficult for me.
Yeah, for me it's the fire runes. I
Okay.
calculated it recently, and if I was gonna do 85 smithing, I think it would take 12,000 hours, and most of that is hunting implings. I think like 8,000 of those hours were just hunting essence implings. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. But if I got a fire
Yeah.
battle staff, I would do it. It'd be like 4,000 hours of mostly killing trolls for natures, but that's more realistic for me.
You class that as like not a meme grind to get to 85 with 4,000 hours?
Yeah. I mean,
How much experience an hour is that?
I don't know experience per hour, but
Because
um,
85 is like 4 million experience. Just
yeah,
it's like 3.5 million experience or something, right?
yeah, around that.
And then you're doing that in 4,000 hours. You're getting 800 experience an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a mean grind, but I kind of want to do it. I I really don't want to make exceptions if I don't have to. Like I feel
Yeah.
evil chicken's not really a meme grind anymore.
No, I would do evil chicken. Like I'm okay doing evil chicken if I rolled like the woodcutting guild or something. But
Mm.
superheating for 4,000 hours is a meme grind to me. Like if I roll a Tavali dungeon, I get like a 1 in 64 chance of copper, tin, iron, and like all of the really shitty ores, and I'd have to get 99 smithing by superheating, and then I'd also have to go hunt like a million essence implants to then get the runes to do the alks.
Yeah.
Not the out, sorry, the superheats. And yeah, it would be like 300 experience an hour or something, maybe even less, like 200. And like, I just would never do that. It's just too much of a meme grind. I guess 85 is a little bit less crazy than 99, but even so, it's just such a low experience an hour that it has to come under meme grind for me.
Yeah. I don't think, like, if I had an anvil right away, I don't think I'd ever get to 99 with that. That'd be pretty insane. But yeah, I just don't want to make an exception.
Hmm.
And I feel like it'll be beneficial to have like all those bars and stuff stacked up for when I do roll an anvil eventually.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be something I'd have to completely pay attention to like my current grind is. So that's
Yeah,
also an advantage of it. And I could keep
I
doing
can
raids too.
understand that.
I think I'll need
Yeah.
more ores as well.
Yeah, from the raids themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just crazy to me though, because like I don't want to make exceptions either, and I haven't made any exceptions yet, and I don't plan on making any. But if it is like a superheat grind to 85 or 99, that's like hundreds of experience an hour, then I think it is just that point where I wouldn't be able to make enough content. So it's like, will this take too long to stop me being able to be like a full-time creator essentially, and if it's yes, then I'm just gonna have to make that exception because I want to be a full-time creator. I
Mhm.
like being a full-time creator, so I want to be able to make money. And uploading, once every few months would be way too difficult.
Yeah, I know. I feel that. I'd probably just play another account and make
Yeah.
like a mini series or do something on the side as well.
Yeah, then you just have the risk of what if your mini series doesn't do well, and
True.
yeah, there's a lot always that goes on mentally, right? When you because I want to put up like a chunk video every 2 to 4 weeks is like my goal. And I don't mind it being a month between videos, but I'd like to be able to upload a different video here and there, like so I can get 2 videos out a month. But then it's like, what series and like mini series or whatever could I do between the chunk that's still interesting that people would watch that hasn't been done before? And whenever you think about stuff, it's like the other day I was like, um, just spitballing ideas to myself and trying to figure out maybe like a mini series or something. And everything that I thought of had already been done. Like even just things like there's a thing called Equilibrium Man where
Yeah.
he has to level every single stat equally. And I thought that would be really cool. And then like it's already been done like 2 or 3 times by different people. And you're like, what the heck, man? I just want to have some fun. And I want to like have like that unique side. But then there's like, chess locked, boss locked. There's like locked to everything. So like you can't really have a locked account that's original. It's just
Mhm.
so difficult.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at a point where most everything's been tried and maybe like trying to change rules of a current series or like mix stuff around or maybe making a different end goal um
Hmm.
is kind of what you have to do with new series.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
like
definitely
adding
gives a
a
lot of thought.
different flair to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different flair to an existing concept is
Yeah,
probably where we're at.
I guess that's what we're doing with Junkman, right?
Hmm.
Because we're just starting in different places, and it's been done many times, but it's just fun. But I think that's like what's so good about like Chunkman, because every start's so unique. As long as you start somewhere someone hasn't really started, you're gonna have a different journey. But even if you start where someone else has started, you're probably gonna have a different journey anyway because of the randomness of the roles. And I think
Hmm.
that's what drew me to Chunkman in the first place, because like everyone's journey is different, even if you have the same like rule set.
Yeah, yeah, the randomness definitely makes it more unique. But yeah, I feel that same way about thinking of ideas. Like a lot of people have already done things. But
Yeah, it's I don't know. I will probably do a mini series at some point, and I'll have some fun with stuff and try things, but I just don't have any ideas that I think would work at the moment. But in the
mhm.
future, yeah, I'll probably be able to find something.
Yep. I feel the chunk man eventually you're just gonna get a grind that takes a long time no matter what, that might not be too interesting. So having options on the side is kind of nice.
Yeah, I think people like Verf do it well, where he has like quite a few different series and stuff that he's like working on. So if a chunk video takes him 2 months, he can upload another video or two in that time, and then upload another chunk. Like he has his Ultimate Iron Man free to play and stuff like that that he's uploaded recently in between his chunk videos, and I think that does really well. Like even if it doesn't do quite as good as the chunk, as long as it does well enough that you can get a sponsor for the video or like whatever, then he's gaming, right? And that would be like the ideal thing for me.
Yeah, I look towards Verf a lot for like what a creator does to pass the time between videos and stuff. I
Mm.
mean, he jungles so many accounts, but
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe
yeah,
he does too many, but yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he's one of a kind in that respect. I think he could do
Yeah.
more than me at once, but yeah, having something on the side would be fun too. I really do love all aspects of the game, so just doing the same thing all the time would kind of demotivate me. So I do like playing another account on the side most of the time.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like one without restrictions anyway, that I can just do whatever I want. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I can't really do many clue scrolls on this account, so I've kind of been doing clues on my other Iron Man, my main Iron Man. So,
Yeah,
and
I
you
guess
have
that could be
your
fun as
group
well, right? You
account
can have
too.
like yeah, yeah. I haven't really done content on. Well, I've been streaming the group account here and there, but I haven't really like made a video on the group account since starting the Chunk Man, just because I've been so focused on the Chunk Man, and thankfully for me, like my grinds have been able to be put into a video within like a month or so
Mhm.
between them. So it hasn't got to the point where it's too long for me yet, but yeah, if it does get to that point, I do have the group Iron Man as like a backup thing if I need it or whatever, and even stuff like that can be helpful. I wanna hopefully be able to do some game shows and stuff if they do well, and get like different content creators on every time. But like obviously, if I do a game show and it flops, then I can't be like, I've invested all of this time and it's done terribly. I'm going to do this again. So it's just, will it be a good use of my time? We'll find out in like a week or two.
Yeah, yeah. I think game shows are particularly like very interesting for um RuneScape content. Obviously, like Guild Games does so well.
Hmm.
There are a lot of people that do like mini challenges, like the Lincoln Rard challenges. I don't know if you've seen those,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, just like quick little one-off things could be pretty interesting. I
yeah, exactly.
did a trivia video
Yeah, I watched
recently.
that.
It was just on my second channel, and it like I feel like it would have gotten a lot more views on my main channel, but um, it was still interesting to post it. Like I didn't know how I was gonna do until I posted it, so I just figured. The second channel is kind of a guinea pig for me to see stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So
But then
it's
if you do it again, would it be a main channel, do you reckon? Like if you are planning
would
on like
depend.
another one?
Yeah, I don't want like too many videos in between the chunk videos because obviously
Hmm.
most people are there for the chunk videos. So I'll do like one video in between max. I did like a 1000 loop from 1000 tormented demons when that first came out. And that did
Hmm.
all right. Um, but yeah, I need to get out a chunk video and then put out another video. But yeah, I might do
Yeah.
like a challenge or a game show thing in between. I feel like that's a good sort of thing. I've also done a couple guides too. And those have gone well. I know that you've done a lot of guides also. So that's
Yeah, just a
fairly
couple on
revenue.
RS3.
Just a couple, yeah.
But I did do two guides on old school since moving over. It's just like new content stuff. I did one on Scarius that did really well.
Yeah, I
And then
did
I
a
did one
Scarius
on
video too.
yeah. Scarius was pretty good on release. I really enjoyed it, especially because I was like the level it was aimed for, like a little bit over the level it was aimed for, but still like able to utilize it. It was really fun.
Hmm.
And then the same with Moon's Apparel, like I was able to utilize that pretty well, and I did a little guide on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's both very accessible content, so I feel like it
Hmm.
does very well for guides.
Yeah, and the good thing about guides is even if they don't get the most like views straight away, they just passively go, and they'll always just go up and up and up when people are searching the terms.
Hmm.
And I feel like they have more passive potential than like a chunk video as default. That isn't like your first chunk video, I guess, or like a master video of a bunch of your grind, because those ones are obviously good over time. But say it's like episode 5 of your chunk, then that's probably going to do less in terms of search and stuff than a guide.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think guides are good for paying the bills in between
Yeah,
videos.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? You need to find that good balance where it doesn't kill your channel because you're uploading so much that isn't your main focus, but just enough that it ties you by
Yeah.
the long grinds.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, since you started in Camelot, and most chunkers, like their end goal is unlock every chunk, but obviously that's like a way distant kind of future goal. Do you have like a in between kind of long term goal for your chunk count?
Yeah, get out of this dev junk.
Yeah, for
No, I
sure.
don't know. Like the current goal obviously is to get out of the chunk before the end of the year.
Hmm.
But then when I'm out of the chunk, I think the joy of Chunkman is that you never know what to expect. So it's hard to be like, oh, my goal is to get all of my skills trained, because like then I could unlock, mining and smithing and construction and herb lore. But like it could be so long until I have those unlocked because I just don't roll those chunks, right? So I honestly have no idea what my long term or like close term goals are, other than having the chunk done
Mm.
by the end of the year and then unlocking every skill, maxing the account, and getting a bunch of chunks. I think if I would set myself a goal, I think my next cool goal that I want on this account is to unlock a boss. But I think my first
Mm.
boss I unlock is like giant moles. So I don't know whether I actually want to unlock a boss.
Yeah, yeah. What else is around there? Giant mole. Uh, you could go up to Fremnik. That's not too far.
Yeah, I could even like breach into the wilderness if I start rolling like Goblin Village and stuff. Like Limbwart has his giant long stick going up into the wilderness
Mm.
from Goblin Village. I could have that as well, for example.
Yeah.
So
God Wars is you go that way.
yeah, I
Could
don't
be a
know
thing.
whether I would be able to do the quests, right? I guess you can. They are kind of localized there. Do I have
Yeah.
to go to like Varrock or anything for some of those quests? In my
No,
head, I feel
I
like
don't think so.
I'm
I think you just have to do the initial one, the attack XP one. What's that one called? Death Plateau, maybe?
yeah, Death Plateau is the
And
first one,
then
and then it's like
Troll
Troll
Stronghold.
Stronghold.
I think you just have to
Yeah,
start that one and you can get there.
right. Okay, yeah. Then I guess it is all contained there, so I could go up. But the issue if I start rolling that way is that I will unlock Herb Lore, so I'd be stuck there for a long time before I even think about God Wars.
True. Do you have
One
like all the
benefit,
meat in
yeah,
there?
that's the benefit that I have. I don't have cows
Okay. So
because I'd
yeah.
get rats with the south of Tavali chunk that I have to roll to get the like North Tavali chunk, right?
Mm.
And I have chickens and bears in like south of Legends Guild and Witch Haven area. It's just the cow, but I don't know where my nearest cow pen is. I think there's one
Crafting
fairly,
Guild,
yeah,
the Valley Farm ish, kind of close to there.
yeah. It's
Uh,
probably like south of Valley or whatever is the closest. So yeah, I guess I wouldn't have the 99 Herblore grind for a while at least. So yeah,
yeah.
maybe who knows? God Wars Dungeon would be very interesting because I'd have terrible gear for it.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. You'll have a
Yeah,
smoldering stone though.
yeah, yeah. To just
But
having my
yeah.
inventory
Mm-hmm.
for cool
So
looks.
just look
Yeah,
cool, yeah. But yeah, it's kind of interesting doing bosses with bad gear. I definitely Definitely like it.
Yeah,
It makes it
Mr.
more fun.
Cox.
Hmm.
I remember watching you and you just like didn't do the mage hand because you had no runes. And it was
Yeah, I would
interesting
just
watching.
rather save my runes until I had 75 at least for
Yeah, no,
ancestral.
it makes sense, right? But it's just funny seeing people do
Hmm.
like challenge mode Cox and not even hitting the mage hand. You're like, huh? What's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah. I mean, I would love if like I had unlimited run energy or something. I can just do the solo method. But
Yeah,
teams are still fun, but it's finding teams that really sucks. Um, and yeah, I've got to wait for them to be ready. And yeah, sometimes I wish I could just solo, but probably runes would be an issue if I was soloing all the time as well. So
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of nice that I don't have to bring mage. I can still get through a raid.
yeah. That is big. And you discovered the overloads in the raids will allow you to enchant your bolts, and you need less of a level and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was helpful too. So
Yeah,
now basically all I have to get is 75 magic. Probably get
that's so
higher
much better.
from just using it, but yeah,
Yeah.
87 would have been quite a grind, especially since I'm like saving my fire runes and nature runes right now. Oh,
Yeah.
and speaking of the superheat that I was gonna do, I think if I don't get a fire battle staff and I roll that, I'll probably just go to 70. I don't think that'll be too long. It like the difference between 70 and 85 is huge, so
Yeah, it's massive. It's like 700k XP versus 3.5 mil or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like as a cop out, but like as not completely disregarding the grind completely when I get it, probably just go to 70 and unlock like a new type of bar. Be adamant would be
Yeah,
like a small thing that I could do.
I think that's a good way of doing it 100%. And a good way to like monitor that is the thing that Josh made with the meme grind limiter thing, where you can put like
Mm.
a level and how much XP you're getting, and then the higher level you are, like the more experience now you need technically or whatever for the limiter. And that works really well with like, yeah, you would unlock Addy, but you wouldn't go all the way to Rune because you're too much of a meme grind at that point because of how much XP you need versus how much you're getting per hour. I think that's probably
Mhm.
what I would do. I wouldn't just say like, "Oh, I'm not gonna superheat," and I'm disregarding that as a training method. I'd be like, "I'm not gonna superheat to Rune, but I'd gladly superheat to like Myth or Addy or something, depending on how long it's gonna take me and how long the runes would take to get." Because again, my biggest issue is just the nature runes. Like it's 1 in 100 from essence implins, and you get 13, so it's 0.13 nature runes to catch, and they've got a 30-second respawn timer. Like it's just annoying.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm. Even in Pro, nature runes are still hard to get.
Yeah, same. Sadly, I wish they
Mm.
were easier because then I would actually consider doing like a super heat grind because I don't even care about killing the monsters for the ore. It's just the having to do even more implins on top of my 87 magic that I need to get, which is going to take a while. I should hopefully be able to get 87 magic with the 89 hunter if I catch like every essence implin I can on the grind. I need like
Mm.
20 something thousand essence implins caught.
Yeah. Kill this monster 10,000 times is a lot easier for me than like catch this impling 10,000 times.
Yeah, the implants definitely take their toll, but I don't hate it. I think I don't hate it because the supplies you get are so good. Like if it wasn't for the implants, I wouldn't have got 99 fletching as easy. And I calculated how long it would take me for 99 fletching if I didn't have Puro and like money from it. And it would have literally have taken me if I was doing like Willow Longbows U or whatever. It's literally like a 1,200 hour grind or something.
Yeah, and you would have had to get like a lot more woodcutting XP.
Yeah, it's actually mental. But I think I got it done in like 500 hours. So I saved like over double the time. I guess if I was like selling the Willow Longbows U, I could have still made some arrows. So maybe it would be like 1,000 hours instead of 1,200. But yeah, I got it done in 500. So yeah, literally half the time by just having Puro. And then
Hmm.
Puro takes less than 500 hours. So I've just profited time, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I see a lot of chunkers are like keeping implings out of their rules just because
Hmm.
like every chunker eventually gets implings. It's kind of like a grind that you'd expect. Kind of like whenever like a 99 cape is rolled, people just go straight to 99. Like construction, I guess, for an extreme. Like once
Yeah,
you get a house, you get 99 construction. So it is kind of like they're just trying to spice things up by not having the same grind as everybody else, which makes sense.
yeah,
But implings are also like they're kind of like what makes my chunk possible, and certainly the upgrades that they give are just too good to pass up in a lot of cases. But
yeah.
then we're
Same here
all
for sure.
running around with blue d'hide chaps and
Yeah, yeah,
magic
yeah.
longbows and red spiky band
Yeah,
braces.
red spiky band
Mm-hmm.
braces.
It'll be the
I
best in
think
slot for a long time.
the biggest thing with like Pro is that it was one of those things when I ever brought it up in like clan chat and stuff. People were always like, "It's not worth it. You'll go insane. Like, look at Verf. It was his least favorite grind, and that man's a legend." Blah blah blah. Right? Because they just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the difference between someone like myself unlocking Pro early and someone like Verf unlocking it after doing such a long grind and like getting all of these different supplies is that he needed pretty much nothing from Pro. I need pretty much everything from Pro.
Yeah.
So you have to measure it on like how much it actually benefits you to the time you put in, etc. So it's definitely one of those things where if I was in Verve's shoes, I wouldn't have unlocked it deliberately like I did in my chunk.
Mm-hmm.
But being in my shoes, I don't regret it at all. It's one of those things that I'm so thankful that I did end up doing it and I just went with it and YOLO'd it because as soon as I unlocked it, I was like, yeah, this is great. Like after doing it for a few days, like the supplies I already had just made my decision just solidified. I was so happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like a mentality sort of thing. Like it's useful for you. It's not going to be as useful for everybody else. And
Hmm.
I feel that because I used to love Pro like back in RS2,
Yeah.
do it all the time just for fun and money. But like nowadays, like I was gonna grind medium clues on my Ironman. I just hated just continuously catching eclectics in the same spot over and over
Mm.
for mediums. But it was just like a mentality thing. Like I was having fun back then, but not with like the grinds and stuff that I could do on my Ironman. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you always have to weigh it out to like the alternatives that you could do instead, etc. Right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like killing hellhounds without your upgrades would have been a lot less entertaining than it is now, or a lot less fun for you. You're
Oh
killing them
yeah,
slower.
I get to use the magic like weakness and stuff as well, which is always
Mm.
nice. So it's been really, really good to be able to utilize some of the more recent updates, like the combat rebalance and stuff. It's so cool to have those things and be able to really showcase them super well on a chunk man. Because on like a normal account, you're not really going ahead
Mm.
and utilizing that much, maybe like super early, but after that you don't care about it. Whereas on the Chunkman, it's like always useful, and I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of more of a progression type thing, like where, like, on different stages of your account, it'll be really useful to use on certain bosses, more so
Hmm.
than like a best everywhere type thing. But yeah, having like a 50% damage buff on a chunk account that can't get much gear, but you can get that spell, that's absolutely huge. So,
Yeah, it makes like dragons way more possible for me as well in the
mhm.
future if I roll Tavily Dungeon, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
I think it was a great update of doing that.
yeah, 100%. And I know like low level barrows is really good now with it. Not that I'm doing now my chunk
Mhm.
man, but like
I
low
tried the
level
Undead
barrows with
Man
air
recently
spells.
too.
Is it good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. Just
Hmm.
bringing air spells is it feels like as good as a normal trident doing barrows. or probably a little bit better even.
Yeah, that's crazy. With it like just an air spell,
Mm-hmm.
that's mad.
Yeah, and then like how they scale now with so they basically have the same max hit as all the other spells in that tier is
Yeah,
pretty good
yeah.
too.
So
Just
like
for
air
normal
hits the
stuff.
same as fire, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. On most things that don't have a weakness, air spells can be best. Just for that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's cheaper
Mm-hmm.
as well. Yeah. And all you need is like an air staff and a rune, and you're good to go. That's so nice. Especially for chunkmen, again, like it's so much easier to not have to get like a million elemental runes. You could just have an air staff and then just the secondary catalytic rune.
Yeah, yeah, that's really convenient as well. But, yeah. What are your overall thoughts of them doing updates like that, where they adjust things that have been in the game for a while? Are you kind of a fan of that? Obviously, I feel like we both are in agreement that that was a good update, but just kind of in general, what are your feelings
No,
on
I
these
went through
updates?
the bad things, so everyone has to go through the bad things. The game cannot get easier because I did it when it was hard. Yep,
Mm,
true.
so
No,
you're in
I'm
that.
joking.
Okay. Yeah, you're in that. That's
I'm
good.
definitely not in that. I like the game getting more accessible for players because, like for example, like looking at like Guardians of the Rift or something, rune
Mhm.
crafting doing it traditionally was like really bad and everyone hated it. But now like people don't mind doing the early levels with Guardians of the Rift, and then you have like later on choices of other updates that have been added, like different ways, like the blood runes with the like mining way of doing it, or getting
Mhm.
like DeWalt S or whatever it's called. Um, and then using that for the amplified XP on like lava runes or something. You have so many freedoms of choice of like how you can level now, and I think that's the key. Not that like the grind has essentially maybe got easier or more AFK or more active or whatever. You have the choice between those things now. Like mining is probably the perfect example where it has pretty much something for every player. You have stars, which are garbage XP but super AFK. They made Motherlode Mine a little bit stronger, and that's like more XP than Stars now, but it's semi AFK. Then you have other stuff like the Varlamore, like bone fragment thing, which is similar to Motherlode Mine, but you're not really getting smithing resources, you're getting prayer resources. So that might be a choice there that you want to make. And then you've got the
Mhm.
fully active like tick minute mining with granite, or tick maniping with gem rocks, etc. So you can do that lean forward to get that most XP still, and it's still worth doing that because it's still like two and a half times as fast as like the semi AFK alternatives. And then you even got like active non-tick minute methods of just power mining iron or something. So you've got that freedom of choice. Back in the day, you just power mined iron and you just
Mhm.
had to suck it up. I don't like the mentality of like, oh, this update shouldn't be here, shouldn't exist because I power mined iron. I did it to 99 or whatever. And they're just like kind of, I guess, jealous that it's been made better, when really you should be thankful that it's been made better because no one has to go through the same thing that you did that you might have suffered through.
Mhm.
And if you have to suffer through something in a video game, then that needs to be changed, in my opinion.
Yeah, not everybody has fun suffering for
Mm.
sure. But yeah,
What's your
more.
opinion? Are you same or?
Yeah, I'm same. I like that they don't make like the AFK the new things that they put in. They don't make them like busted XP rates.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of they keep the best XP rates to um the things that you have to like pay more attention to and
Mhm.
that use more clicks and they generally just don't add XP buffs to skills as much.
Yeah,
They just kind of make more options. Um,
exactly, yeah.
so yeah, as long as they keep doing it that way, like why not add as many options as you can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot because again, it's the freedom of choice, right? And Jagex do it really well on Old School. If they released like best in slot AFK experience an hour and that is the best way to do it, then that'd be an issue, right? but
Yeah.
their best in slot is going to be another active method or something, so it helps a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, there's still like a pretty big skilling community in RuneScape, so I think it's good to keep like the active kind of skills like where they're at. You have any thoughts on sailing coming into the game?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about sailing. Like, I voted for shamanism, uh, and I would have liked that more probably, but I'm not like against new skills because I think new skills are the most fun I've ever had in RS3, for example. Like racing archaeology on release was so much fun, and it was such a well made skill, and it was really cool to all be noobs. No
Hmm.
one knows how to do it, etc. And I think that's the magic of a new skill. Everyone's new to it, and it gives this whole new perspective on the game. So I don't
Hmm.
think it really matters what the skill is as long as they make it well and it's an enjoyable experience to get to level 99 in. So then when you're discovering new things with other people, it has that really like fun wow factor when something is discovered or metas are established, etc. Right? Because
Hmm.
if it's one of those skills where it's just like AFK, like fishing or something, imagine if fishing was released now. Like that would be so boring. As long as it has some cool things linked into it, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when old school started, we didn't have every skill figured out yet, even.
Hmm.
But now everything's figured out, so having something new to throw into the fold would be really interesting. Definitely excited to see people race the 99,
Yeah.
stuff like that
Are
too.
you excited for sailing? Like, did you want sailing or?
Yeah, I've actually wanted sailing since they like teased it a long, long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that news post even when I was on RS3.
Yeah, and they had like that picture on the homepage, and everybody's like, he's wearing a sailing cape. Like, I always thought it'd be a cool skill. I also thought like archaeology was gonna be a new skill like way before they proposed it, and just like the thought of archaeology seems like it'd be a really cool skill. And
Yeah, it's
maybe,
perfect for RuneScape.
yeah, maybe one day they could incorporate that some way into old school.
It has everything that a skill wants, the RS3 archaeology at least, because it has like collection logs built into the skill.
Mm,
It has like a gathering aspect that's like semi AFK and chill, but then it has like a sprite that you follow to get like increased XP. So then it's kind of like a bit of bonus for being active and paying attention. And then you have things called mysteries, which is like mini quests essentially that are linked into the skill that you discover over time and then have to go and do that mystery and solve it. And there was like a world first broadcast for every like mystery that was solved, etc. So like people were racing to figure out
mm,
stuff, and like it just gives you that sense of adventure within a skill. Even though it's a gathering skill on the surface, it's a gathering skill with everything they've learnt put into it to make it more enjoyable. And it would work well in old school. I think if I was going to want any skill that isn't in old school that exists in RS3, archaeology would instantly be my choice.
yeah, I feel like it'd be really cool. Um, I I'm kind of not wanting them to put too many skills out like too quickly. I'm kind of glad that they're taking their time with sailing, and
Yeah,
you know, maybe at least give it like 2 or 3 years before they put a skill in after that, whether it's shamanism or archaeology or something like that.
definitely.
Yeah. I think
You don't
shamanism
want to
was a cool
overload.
skill. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
want it too much at once. I thought it was a cool skill, but it was kind of like it didn't seem like it would be the most fun. It seemed like it just fit the best, and I think that's why people voted in.
I guess that's a fair take. Like, the leveling of shamanism might not be as fun as like the leveling of sailing, for example, but the usefulness of it would probably be higher than sailing, like on the surface. So I could see like either doing well. I just think taming was the one that no one cared about. I think sailing and shamanism were the two like exciting factors of when they proposed all those skills.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem I had with shamanism was like the buffs that they wanted to put in. Um, I more so like prefer power creep to come from bossing and new items to go for kind of deal, other
Right.
than just leveling a skill. Like if they put like extreme potions into RuneScape, it would overall increase your DPS. But you know, you could have like a new piece of armor that would do that instead from a fun boss, and I think I'd prefer
Hmm.
that over like buffs coming from skilling.
I've got a fun fact for you. The super potions in Old School RuneScape, like super attack, strength, defense, etc.,
Yeah,
boost your stats as much as an overload boosts it in RS3, and super potions are weaker in RS3, and extremes are weaker than the super potions in Old School.
really.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
really
like a
weird.
change? Because I feel like
It must
pre
have been a balance
EOC.
and change when they released like overloads and stuff. Obviously, overloads are still more overpowered because they continuously tick up your stats more.
Mhm.
And like if you brew it down, it will tick it back up, etc. Like so, it is really overpowered. In it's like the salts from TOA or whatever. But there's obviously increases to overloads now on RS3. You have like the Supreme and then the Elders and stuff, so they're even more powerful. But the
Mhm.
base overload is about the same, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. I feel like I remember like pre EOC, it was at least like 118 stats that it'd give you. But was it always less than that, or did they change that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just remember it was like overloads might be like one higher stat than a super pot. It just keeps you here the whole time, right? So
Hmm.
it was just funny to see. It was one of those interesting things coming over from RS3 because the first time I drank a super pot, it like buffed my stats way more than I expected it to, and I was like, "What the heck? This is so strong!" I was just really happy.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, we didn't go to like super ranged spots or anything, because
Yeah,
that
no
would have
super
been
magics
pretty
either.
OP.
Yeah,
But it's nice to have in a raid, like just for that raid, you can have like the overpowered like stats and stuff. Uh,
yeah. I
I
think
like
it works
that.
perfectly for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It makes the raid feel a bit more special as well. Like overloads in Cox are special, and then like salts are special. It makes it feel like you're participating in the raid and you're being rewarded and you're being made more powerful within there. But then it's not making, the bosses you would kill elsewhere just so much easier because you have them available for it. I think overloads would be a mistake. And then not only would overloads be a mistake, it's like how convoluted overloads are. Like you have to use so many
mhm.
potions to then turn into extremes, to then turn into overloads, to then turn into like elder overloads. You would then need to turn the overload into a supreme, into an elder, and then you would have to like make it into a salve, and you would add like super anti poison, super anti fire, prayer potions, and everything to it. And you're literally using like 40 potions to make one potion. It's actually insane.
Yeah, that's definitely too much.
It's so dumb.
I feel like they are going to put in overloads eventually.
You
Maybe,
reckon?
yeah, maybe just like the base kind of overload. But yeah, I feel like eventually they will. They add like those Menafite remedies, and I remember when they were proposing those for a
Hmm.
potion, they kind of were saying that it'd be a component for to make an overload one day,
Okay.
because it kind of ticks your stats up
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. So it's kind of like that. But
That makes sense.
yeah, I feel like eventually they will. It's just kind of a matter of time. They're just going to do it a bit slower, I guess. But
Hmm.
it's nice to have the boosted stats in just that raid, and you don't bring it out elsewhere.
Yeah,
They do that like all across the game, and just makes other bosses easier to kill. But they
exactly.
they can buff up a raid and then give you like this OP stuff to kill it, because it's extremely hard to kill without. You know, it's gonna be fine to make your player overpowered. That's kind of what I wish Coliseum was. I wish
Okay.
instead of getting a debuff every wave, you got a buff every wave, and then everything like got extremely hard.
Stronger. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would have rather seen like my players overpowered, but so are these monsters kind of
Yeah,
deal. Instead of
it makes it feel more fun, right? Like you
hitting
hit
bigger
hard,
numbers.
etc. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like end of Wild Gothic Sleeps,
yeah,
touching
exactly.
the stone and you're hitting like so high. It's so much fun.
That the tormented demons are like too easy for that. You know,
Yeah,
they're not buffed as well. If they buffed like the
that's
HP
true.
or um their
The
attacks,
balance
and they're
elemental
fun.
was quite fun, at least. I quite
Yeah,
like
yeah, that
that.
was actually pretty difficult, more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Um,
Yeah.
I I think I got it to where it started praying 2 prayers at once, and I was like, I only brought 2 combat styles, like bank,
Oh
because I
no,
couldn't hit
yeah.
it. Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
but yeah, it was a cool boss fight. I like that one.
Yeah, very neat. I very much enjoyed it. And I like the fact that like it would drain your prayer and stuff if you were praying the wrong thing, etc. It was like very
Hmm.
punishing for you not to prioritize the mechanics and trying to prioritize other things like DPS or something. Like I would always switch my prayer, then worry about switching my gear. Because like if I was slow on my prayer, then it was much worse than being slow on your gear type thing.
Yeah, definitely a different mindset compared to other bosses where you
Mm.
just want to out DPS everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that that's a good kind of space that they're going into. Speaking of like quests that came from RS3, is there like any quest line from RS3 you'd like to see in Old School?
Um, I'm not really sure because old school kind of always goes like its own way with quests and things, and I did enjoy like Sliske's Endgame and stuff in RS3, which I think is where like old school is heading towards with the While Government Sleeps, and then they've spoken about the ritual and of the Majorat, and that's obviously existing in RS3, and then that then slowly but surely leads into Sliske's Endgame, and we've already seen Sliske a bunch in old school, and he's up to his own mischievous ways, etc. Um, so I think Sasuke's endgame would work well with an old school spin on it, and I think that would be really fun. But outside of that, I think linking into Sasuke again, it would be like the ones that have Acrisay and Linza, which are like Barrow's brother and Barrow's
Mm.
sisters. And they like are added to Barrows after you've done the quest, and then they have their own like gear and things. And I think that's really fun. And also the storyline of it is pretty fun. So something like that would be quite cool. I can't remember what the exact name is. I think it's called Kindred Spirits or something. It's a pretty good quest.
Yeah, I wasn't much of a quester in RS2, or well, I played a little bit of RS3 as well, but um, yeah, I wasn't much of a quester, but I do remember them changing the Barrows brothers. And I didn't particularly like that at the time, but maybe
Mm.
if I had done the quests, I would have enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they probably should add some quests from RS3 to Old School just because they're really good. But they should probably prioritize like their own quest lines eventually too.
Yeah, definitely. Because like my most favored quests that I've done in old school are the old school specific quests, like Dragon Slayer 2, Monkey Madness 2. Then I really enjoyed stuff like Desert Treasure 2. Like those ones don't exist in
Mhm.
RS3. And they were just made so awesomely with so many cool boss fights and things that you had to do. I think they just need to do more like that. I don't even think they need to take too much from RS3.
Yeah, I think they do pretty well making their own stories. I
Definitely.
feel like the old school team's like more kind of silly with what they do, opposed to like a lot of lore and stuff. I think Desert Treasure 2 might have like been like their most lore focused quest so far that they've made personally, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think they're fun and quirky at least. They didn't like that frog quest in Farlamore.
Yeah.
Kind of
Those type of
funny, yeah.
quests are really good. There's quite a few like that in RS3 as well. I think they're my favorite type of quests in both games. The goofy nature of RuneScape, I think, is so much fun when it's portrayed in a good way. Like on RS3, there's a Gower quest where the Gower brothers came back for like the 15-year anniversary or something, and
Mm.
they made a quest, and it's like there's a part of it where you have to train your skills that they're introducing to the game, and one of them is like bank standing, and you have to stand next to a bank, and then you're like, ooh, shiny object, and like it tries to pull you away from the bank, and you need to get back there to level, and then like little things like that
Yeah.
just make the quest really enjoyable because it's just so silly.
Mhm.
And there was sailing in that as well, and just like a little prototype thing where you had a little like boat that you wore, and then you would walk around in water and like shoot other boats. And horse riding or something was another one, I think. So like little stuff like that is really cool. And then you went into behind the scenes, and it had a bunch of like bosses and stuff in there, or a bar, and you would talk to them, and they had like all funny lines and stuff, and then you had to try and go behind the scenes and fix issues that were in Gillinor from behind the scenes. And yeah, that
Mm.
that type of quest is the one that resonates with me the most because it's memorable because you remember all those funny little quirky bits.
Yeah, definitely like pointing back to things that we used to do back in the day, like bank standing
Yeah,
before we
the
took Scaling
references
2.
and stuff. Yeah, so good.
Just like, yeah, different references. They do that with the old school quest too. But yeah,
Hmm.
I like that sort of thing. Definitely like maybe one of those for every big lore serious focus quest would be nice. Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely probably nice for new players too. I'm sure that they find them quirky and funny as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been really fun, like watching Unguided, for example, Mr. Alien Food, and
Mhm.
watching him do the quests with like zero guides and stuff. It's something that I can't really do nowadays because I've done the quests so many times or whatever. So it's really fun to see like fresh perspectives on it. And I feel like people who come to this game, quests are like either a love or a hate relationship where they either just use quest helper and skip through them and get back to getting their XP, or they really, really indulge themselves in it. And it's a really strong suit of RuneScape. Like, there's no other game that really does quests like RuneScape. So I think they should lean into it more, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of early quests are so good, but they like sometimes they don't make much sense user wise, or they're a lot different. Like in one quest, like you might have to try to use every item in your inventory on the thing, and then eventually you'll find something that works, but other quests won't work like that. So
Mm,
you can't like learn from other quests to figure out how to solve like certain quests because
yeah.
of just the difference of each quest. I think that's kind of because every quest was made by like a different person, like over several years apart, and maybe they wanted to try something, didn't really have the game engine kind of ability to do it. Like with Legends quests, like they had to change a lot of things recently, because they were just not very user friendly, as far as like what you do for the quest. So I kind of
Hmm.
I feel his pain when he's doing like a quest without a guide and
Yeah, yeah.
can't figure it out. Like if it takes me more than like 5 minutes to figure something out, I usually will wiki it. But I try to do like quests on day of release nowadays. But yeah, I'm
Yeah, it's
not
so much
strong
fun
enough.
doing it on release, right?
Yeah, I'm not strong enough to sit there and you know keep trying things until I get it. I gotta look at the wiki if I can't get it in 5 minutes.
That's fair. I understand that.
But it is fun going in without like quest helper and stuff.
Hmm. Their release quests are the most fun because of that, in my opinion. Because
Mhm.
I think my thing that I have is like, if there is a guide already out or quest helper ready to go, I'm just more inclined to use it. Whereas if it hasn't been made yet or doesn't exist yet because it's just been released, I'm much more likely to just indulge myself in the quest and have fun because that isn't there to tempt me.
Yeah, yeah. Or just like reading the dialogue because you're not just trying to get through it to get to new content. You're
Yeah.
you're actually trying to like figure it out.
enjoy it for what it is as well. Yeah,
Yeah. It becomes more memorable too than just getting it over with.
yeah, definitely. What are you doing while we're talking? Are you training woodcutting on your chunk man?
Yeah,
Well,
woodcutting,
fletching.
fletching, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I found a dragon impling earlier too. So,
Or did you get
yeah.
anything good?
Just like dragonstone amulets. There's not much I can get from them except for like bones would be nice.
Yeah, baby dragon bones and dragon bones, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What are you doing at the moment?
I'm just woodcutting as well. I've literally just got 99 fletching, and I just, as soon as I had that video ready to go, it was time to chat to you. So I was like, I don't have time to set up anything, and I was rendering, so it was laggy. So I was like, I'll just chop some willows and bank some willow logs for fire making because I haven't done enough woodcutting over the last month,
Hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just more woodcutting. That's like how most chunk counts start. It was just endless woodcutting.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it though because I've slowly but surely tried to make myself get out more. Like we were talking about a routine at the start.
Mhm.
Uh, like we were talking before we done the podcast about it's good to be in a routine, especially as a content creator where you could wake up at 4 p.m. and who cares? Like as long as you're
Mhm.
making some content and you're playing the game and stuff. But it's so nice to be able to get out and touch grass, as cliche as that is, or like get sunlight. So what I've been doing is I'm still going outside, but I'm just going out on mobile, and I'll just click the tree, walk a bit. 30 seconds later, I'll click another tree or whatever, and I'll make arrow shafts for fletching. Or I'm going to do the same thing and continue that routine, but for fire making. So I'll slowly but surely get 99 fire making banked by going out on a walk and trying to get like 5 to 10K steps a day and be healthier instead of sitting in front of a computer all day every day. Even though I'm technically still, I guess,
Mm.
being in front of a screen, I'm not looking at it. I'm just clicking it once every like 30 seconds or whatever. And that's been really good for my mental health in general. Getting outside and still not feeling like I'm wasting time that I could be spending on a video or something. Because I mean, it's a bad mentality to have because everyone should exercise, everyone should get outside, etc. But when you're in that mentality of like, if I'm not playing RuneScape, then like I'm not making progress, I'm not making money, I'm not making videos, etc. But like you kind of get inside your own head as a content creator sometimes. So not having to worry about me not getting stuff for videos and getting that done on mobile and getting that mental just break is so nice. I've definitely found that to be really nice. I do get mental breaks with like my wife and stuff when we're chilling and whatnot, but it's nice to go outside.
Mm.
That's the main thing. Get some vitamin
Definitely, yeah.
D.
Everybody needs
So I
that.
definitely would recommend. Yeah. Do you have like a routine that you do that like you get out and do stuff or?
Um, I do try to take walks. I do have a bit of property here, so I don't have to
Mhm.
walk on the road or anything. Just walk out in the woods for a bit.
Oh, that's pretty
Um,
cool.
but I mean, I like going to the gym, but it's a long drive, and I don't like driving too much, so I haven't been doing that as much. But going outside and getting fresh air is more important. Like if I do that, I feel good. But yeah, I've been
Yeah.
in like a same slump of like I need to progress or else like I'm falling behind.
Hmm.
But like giving yourself that mental break, I feel like you're more productive afterwards.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's
Yeah.
kind of good for like overall
Yeah, I think
I get
that's
that.
one thing that like lockdown really changed my perspective of, I guess, is like when I was locked down during COVID, I literally didn't leave my house for like 8 months at some point because like they advise you not to, and if you can stay indoors, you stay indoors, right? So that was like the craziest time in my life in terms of streaming and stuff because archaeology got released at the same time and
Mm.
viewership was up across the board. Everyone was locked indoors, everyone was watching, having fun. So I had a great time. But outside of having a great time, every time I would end my stream, I would just be mentally drained and exhausted, and then not have a way to escape that, no way to refresh myself and revitalize myself by like going outside and stuff. So I think it's a lot more important to me now from having that first on experience of just how crazy it can be from being locked in. It's nice to get that mental break, and it's very important, I would say. So anyone who is listening, if you haven't had your walk or gone outside, stretch your legs, etc., go have some fun. Go
Mhm.
stretch those legs, get some vitamin D, and even if you're playing RuneScape Mobile or something at the same time, just get outside.
Yeah. Yeah, do something that you can look up from your screen for a while. For
Yeah,
at
definitely.
least, yeah, definitely. Sunlight's big, fresh air is big.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I felt that way during lockdown too. I kind of wish I started content creation then. Um,
When
but
did you start?
I started recording for the first time, I think, early 2022,
Hmm.
and I made my first video, I think, September or October 2022.
Yeah.
This is just a collection log series, and I started the chunk count in December of that year and posted that first video April of 2023. So
Yeah,
still
I
pretty
remember
new.
watching stuff like your Junk Locked account, even though I was playing RS3, because a lot of good Snowflake accounts and stuff were on Old School, so I'd watch all of that stuff, and I got really addicted to watching Junk Men even before I moved over to Old School. So I
Mhm.
remember watching it when it came out, and someone was like talking about how crazy it was, but I didn't really understand it quite as much as I do now because obviously I didn't even know what Cox was, other than it was a raid that's like an elite dungeon in RS3, and that's like all my
Mhm.
knowledge. But it was still fun to watch, so it's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult thing with making content um, out of raid is that I've gotta explain it to people who don't know what it is a bit more, which
Mm.
kind of difficult since there's a lot going on, a whole lot with it. In my current video, I'm doing a big segment just going through every single room and what I do with it. Um,
That's cool.
and yeah, that'll be it won't be like a guide in the middle of the video, but it's gonna have a lot of explanation as if, the viewer doesn't know anything about chambers. Um,
Hmm.
so that they kind of have a feel of what I'm doing. But yeah, when you first switched to old school, did you have an idea of starting a chunk man in your mind, or was that something that came about a bit later?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy Snowflake accounts so much, but I didn't want to make a Snowflake account without knowing the game at all. So I think it would have been better to
Mm,
like at least know certain things or aspirations, etc., that I can have by playing it regularly first. So I obviously did the group Ironman with some other RS3 creators and got used to the game and learned a bunch of the pieces of content that the game had to offer. And once I had so much fun with that, I wanted to make the chunk account as like a side project, but it ended up becoming like my main project. And now the
mhm,
group Ironman is like a side project, which is kind of funny. But I have made a lot of Snowflake accounts in RS3, but I never really had as much fun as I'm having here because the issue with chunk accounts in RS3 is stuff like the tool belt. The fact that that exists, you have everything instantly, means that as soon as you unlock a tree in your chunk, you already have a bronze axe. So now you have to go and chop that tree or whatever, or get fire making levels, and
mhm,
everything just feels very samey, and it's less unique of a journey because of stuff like that. And like for example, you don't need to do druidic ritual to unlock herb lore. Level 1 herb lore is like guam leaf in RS3. So as soon as you get something that drops it, you have to then train herb lore by like cleaning herbs and stuff. And it just gives that discovery factor a lot less to be desired, because the cool thing with my chunk so far is I unlocked an axe after like 500 hours of playing, and then that added so much to my chunks and added all of this cool
mhm.
content that I could do instead of just having it automatically, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really have that sense of cool unlocks with mundane things to a normal account. with a Chunkman on RS3 or like any snowflake on RS3 in general. So it's a lot more fun in old school. And I've enjoyed the whole having to think outside the box and stuff a lot more. I don't think it shines too well on RS3, and I think that's like one of the big reasons why snowflakes are not that great on RS3. But in terms of another reason why snowflakes aren't that good on RS3 isn't even like the fundamentals, it's the viewer experience. Like if you watch someone who plays RS3, they could have a completely different interface than the other guy that you're watching. So you could go from one creator to another, and everything's in different places, and it's a lot less easy to see exactly what's going on by just looking at the screen. Whereas on
Mhm.
old school, no matter what mode you're using, whether you're using the fixed mode or the new modern layout or whatever, your inventory's always at the bottom right. You're always going to have your chat at the bottom left. You're always going to have your mini map at the top right, and then whatever's going on screen is the rest of it essentially. So you know exactly where to look, no matter what you're looking for or wanting to know. Everything is on screen. RS3 is just so convoluted that you could watch for like a minute and still not really know what they're doing because there's just so much going on, or their screens just got so many different interfaces open.
Yeah.
It gets very confusing, and like
Mm.
5 action bars all with different things on it. What action bar are they using? Like, what's this? It's so much to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that being an issue. Um, but yeah, I think the Chunkman's kind of perfect for old school. But
Hmm.
yeah, going back to herb lore, it would be pretty crazy, like every chunk count having herb lore unlocked. It'd kind of be like the same situation as smithing, where everything just becomes a meme grind, because it's just such a difficult skill to train.
Yeah,
There'd be a lot more backlogging and stuff because of
yeah.
it.
I
So it's kind of a
couldn't
bittersweet
imagine
thing.
it. It'd be so horrible, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd have to get 90 in my chunk to make overload in the raid. Um, and that would be. I mean, I get a lot of herbs from chambers, but it would still be a pretty intense grind. So glad I don't have that.
Yeah, that would be that would be kind of mental, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What would
Holy
be
moly!
yours if you had herb lore unlocked?
I think it's like men and women. Oh no, I would need to get super combats.
From because you have Torstol, Spirit Quorum, and Cadentine.
Yeah, I would, because the Toadstool comes either from implings or I would grow it myself from the seeds that is a chunk go anyway, and
Oh
then
yeah.
the Canantine and the Qualms drop from men and women.
Mm-hmm.
So like that is insane, right? It's like level 92 or something. So
Think it's 90 as well. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Except that you
So
only
we
have men
both
and
would need
women
that.
to
Yeah.
get herbs from.
It would just be horrible. It just would not be good, and you would then have to make exceptions from the get go and be like, "Oh, I can't actually do this because it's going to take too long, so I'm going to set like Herblore on passive and all of this jazz." Or like every roll I do, I have to get like 5 Herblore levels or something. Like it's just not going to be fun, and that's what a chunk becomes on RS3. It becomes unfun because you're having to make these exceptions compared to old school where, like you said yourself, you don't want to make exceptions, and you can kind of get to the point where the only thing that you might have to make an exception on is something like smithing. And if
Mhm.
there's only one skill that you're making an exception on, that's not going to kill your series or whatever, or kill your motivation, because the rest is going to be like pretty hardcore following the rules, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like one of the big things when as a viewer watching punk series is, um, one or two exceptions here and there are fine, but when someone keeps making too many exceptions, it's kind of like, I don't know, why pick the rule set if you're not going to mostly follow
Exactly
it.
that, yeah. It's like, why do you call yourself like a supreme if you're putting pets on passive or something like that, right? Like that's just
Mhm.
an example. I don't know anyone who does that, but I'm just saying like that is the equivalent, because the whole thing that makes supreme in my opinion is like the pets, right? You can't call yourself a
Yeah.
supreme if you're not getting the pets or something like that. And then a viewer who's watching it is probably going to think that like, you're just an extreme then, or something like that, right? And then that takes away from the viewer experience.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good to define your rules very well. And it's
Hmm.
okay to have like in between rules and stuff. It's kind of also
Oh,
the beauty
definitely.
of Chunkman. You can
Hmm.
kind of just pick and choose your rules, and the chunk picker is very good at doing that. So you can kind of be like semi extreme or extreme plus or
Yeah, like
vanilla
Josh with his
plus.
semi-extreme, no
Yeah.
capes, but everything else is extreme. So like that's understandable. As a viewer, he said it on like literally episode 1, and then went into more detail on it on like episode 2 or something.
Hmm.
You know that from the get-go. Like, you know that he's an extreme, but no capes. There you go, easy. That's the rule set. You can follow it. There's no issues there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely important for a series to have that.
Hmm.
Kind of about the rules, really. Without the rules, you don't have the snowflake.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the fact that I think Chunkmen do so well because the videos are so easy to make because you already have like your start, your middle, and your end in a video, and then you just have to like play around with that and make that your canvas because you already have like the chunk roll into you get your goals. Okay, we're going to go work towards these. Okay, we might do this to make it easier or something. And then you have the end goal of getting those chunk goals done. And then you rinse and repeat the formula every single time.
Mm,
And I think that's why Chunkmen do so much better than like a regular account. Because a regular account, when you're recording it, you're jumping around with so many different grinds that it's sometimes a bit hard to keep track of what they're doing in the videos. Or like one video will be about one thing, and then the next video will instantly be completely different and not even tie into the previous one, essentially.
yeah.
And Chunkman is that always like rolling of, you know, exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what they're going to finish with, right?
Mm, yeah, yeah. It gives you your grinds.
Hmm.
Um, is kind of why it's fun to play as well. Like playing just a regular Ironman, you've got like so much to do. It's almost like overwhelming.
Decision
Yeah,
fatigue.
yeah, and you're jumping around different places too.
Yeah.
I got my main iron. I never like grinded out chambers for very long because me and my friends would just hop raids pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I've done chambers for a day. Like, I'm a bit, you know, I've got so many other things I got to do. I'm just going to go do TOA or I'm going to go do whatever. And then you're never really doing a focus, right? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you just have so much you got to do.
Mhm.
Like, you have so much you need to unlock, so many items, so many drops. Like, it's definitely one of those things that makes Chunkman so much fun to play as well for me. Because it's like, I log in and I don't have to think, oh, what am I doing today? Like, I know what I'm doing today and I just do it.
Yep. A little bit of progress every day and a little bit of dopamine each time you like
Yeah.
complete a task and stuff.
I've had friends that have burnt out because they've got too much to do, right? Like you were talking about. And they then just can't choose what to do. So you log in, you look at your stats, or you think about the bosses that you want to kill, and then you've got so many options that you just end up logging out because you
Mhm.
can't pick one. You don't have that on on a chunk man at least, which is really nice.
Yeah. Funny. What's been your like favorite grind on your chunk man so far?
Hmm. So far, I think the initial unlock of woodcutting was my favorite because I obviously had to like kind of think outside the box and get the air rune from maze randoms and then do the telegrab of the axe. But then I needed 6 woodcutting, so I had to go and do like forestry and just stand there while they're spawning the events to
Mm,
get the 6 woodcutting. And I definitely just had to like think outside the box and have fun with that. And I did like so many things that a normal account wouldn't do that it made it really fun. And then when I finally got that axe, it just felt so good. So I think those type of grinds are the most fun for Snowflake accounts. And yeah, getting my axe originally was my most fun so far. I think it will be smoldering stone eventually because like that feeling of getting the stone is going to be so good. And I think that'll
yeah.
be my favorite one by the time I leave the chunk. But at the moment, it's just unlocking the axe, honestly.
Yeah, I can imagine that'll Feel really good. 1 in 32,000.
Whenever that
Crazy
happens,
drop
right?
rate.
I really want it to happen around drop rate because it'd
Mhm.
be perfect for me because I'd get 99 range and then a decent amount of magic XP from the runes from Pura and such, and it would be like the perfect amount. But then if I go like 2 times rate, I'm getting like 25 million range XP and such, and it's like just a bit too far. Like it's fine, like
Yeah.
I'll suck it up if I'm dry or whatever, but it would be perfect to get it on rate. And I don't want to get it too early either, because then I wouldn't get 99 range. And I kind of want 99 range. So if I get spooned in like 15k kills, I don't know. I'm going to be excited, obviously, because then I know that like that is a chunk task ticked off. But I think I'd be more excited to get it on drop rate than 15k or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what you calculate when you first do
Yeah.
the grind is like, okay, what if I go on drop rate? Like what's gonna happen? And yeah, I feel like that way with the chunk count too, I'd be a little disappointed if I got everything like before rate a little bit. But because like the supplies are so good too, and I'm sure you want to complete like as many clues as you can while getting the
Yeah. It's
stone and
fun.
all that
Hmm.
too.
Because I might even get a rune axe from the clues as well, which then
Mhm.
would make fire making easier. So, like, it's not a bad thing to essentially do more clues or do more Hellhound KCs. So, we'll see.
Yeah, you could get like a black hide upgrade or
Yep,
um
Blessed Dragon hides.
yeah, oh yeah, those are big.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. And then you can even get like just random rune armor and
Mhm.
stuff like that is useful for future grinds where I might be able to like kill stuff in Tavali Dungeon AFK because I have like rune plate legs, rune full helm, rune kite shield.
Yeah. I've got to say I've caught 12 lucky implings so far.
Wow.
I think I've hit the hard clue table, where it has like the
Hmm.
magic short bow, longbow, black hide, rune armor and stuff.
Yep.
I've hit that exact table like 5 times. I've
Wow.
always gotten things that I don't want so far, but that's
Yeah,
just
you want like the Black Dragonite top, I'm guessing, right?
yeah. The top would be like the biggest out of those items. Then like the rune pickaxe to be really
Oh
good for the
yeah, for
guardian
your
room
star mining as well.
in that too.
Like when you're
Yeah,
AFK, yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's just kind of funny because they're like common drops, but I'm just getting the wrong ones from it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hard Cthulhu is probably the stuff I look forward to the most from Lucky Implings.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think like elite glues are kind of useless for a chunk. There's not
Mm,
much from it that can really be that good. Is mediums are great. Like mediums have a lot of good stuff, like fire battle staff and the god capes and the
boots and stuff
boots.
too.
Yeah, and then easies aren't that great. I guess
Mm,
they give it air staff. That's pretty good. That's about it.
yeah,
Black axe if you need it or something. But yeah, I'd say mediums and hards are the best for chunkers. They have
definitely.
so many good things that are like completely loaded.
Yeah. And masters you'd think would be good. They have like dragon weapons, but you can't wield any of the dragon weapons without
Exactly.
quests.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super annoying.
Like I have Dragon Dagger from like Implins, and it just
Mm.
sits in my bank. Like I've out so many of them for fletching XP because I just can't use them anyway. So what's the
It'd
point of
be
keeping them really?
such a good spec weapon early on too. Have
Yeah, it'd
that.
be so nice. Uh, shame.
Yeah, I got a dragon battle axe from a Lucky Impling
Oh, that's
recently.
so cool.
Yeah, it's
Such a good
a
spec
nice
as well,
trophy,
man.
but
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wish I
It
could
could just
spec
sit
it.
in your bank.
Yeah, just sit in the bank.
Cool little placeholder.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it doesn't do anything,
Hmm.
sadly. But, what do you think? Do you think that chunk count has like longevity in terms of YouTube?
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of having a chunk account. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where you can like have that consistency with such a long end goal that it's just going to last years. So you've always got like, I guess, years of uploads in a chunk account. the only downside to it is if you get a really long grind, it's going to take a long time between episodes. And then
Mhm.
that's where you need to find that sweet spot of having something else to upload in that time, or like a side project or whatever, right? And I'm so happy that I started my chunk account and people have enjoyed it, because it's been so much fun to try and make my videos as good as possible as well, and give the audience like fun to watch, and just, they could sit down once every 2 to 4 weeks or whatever it is when I upload, and just know that it'll be like a fun little video with a solid start and finish, because the goals are always laid out so nicely.
Mhm.
But it's definitely allowed me to increase like editing and stuff, because I have so much AFK time at the moment, at least with my woodcutting or whatever. I can really focus on trying to make the edits as good as possible and include like quirky little sections and
Yeah.
breakdowns and whatever. So I've just tried to think as a viewer, sit down, watch my video over, and be like, is there anything that I watched that I got bored of watching? Maybe the same thing too many times, or I've included whatever too much. I can cut those out to make it enjoyable and flow better. And I think even just having 5 videos, my SIP video goes out today. Like, I think if I compare episode 1 to episode 6, there's definitely things I would have cropped out of episode 1 or improved on or whatever. And
Mhm.
I've only uploaded a couple of videos since then because I've learned so much. And hopefully I can continue to learn and continue to produce like really cool videos, and just take inspiration from other like chunk videos and series and things, and take what they do well, and try and make it my own. Like, there's a section in my video today that I discussed with Josh, and we came with like a little fun conclusion that will be like a continuation thing that I'll do in future episodes as well. So
Sounds
it's
fun.
nice to have, yeah, it's nice to have that like thing where you can speak to other creators and take their input, and discuss things. And I've really enjoyed that. Like, even just talking to you now is fun, right? Like, being
Mhm.
able to rack the brains of other creators and things is super beneficial as a creator. And me getting in this chunk space has allowed me to meet many awesome people like yourself, and like Josh and Frey, and all of these people that really do well, and you can take the cool things that they speak about and use them to your benefit and whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to ask someone who's not a YouTuber or doesn't know what a chunk count is, like, to review your video and give you like
Yeah.
honest feedback, because um it's just a different kind of concept. So having like people doing the same thing to get insight from is honestly game changing for sure.
Yeah, second to none for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that you've been doing YouTube for so long and you're still like learning things too. And
Yeah, yeah.
if you had to give yourself advice from when you started YouTube, just one piece of advice, what would be the number one thing?
Get a decent microphone. Like,
Very
I
simple
started
thing,
with
but
a
yeah,
yeah, it's like
so
audio
impactful.
quality is like, 75% of the video. If you
Hmm.
have bad audio quality, people are just not going to want to listen to you. So the most important thing when you're creating content is to make it enjoyable to listen and watch. So it's like, yeah, like, you want to make it flashy, you want to have cool edits and stuff. But I would say the cool edits and such come just over time of practicing, whereas a good microphone can be there from the start. You don't have to do anything other than like purchase a microphone for it to be good, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to improve on anything like that. I guess like other things do come in time with like how you word things, or just speaking naturally with voiceovers and stuff. Like, it can be quite difficult. But even if you're a little bit like nervous with your speaking or saying, a good microphone will outweigh the like nerves that you have on your voiceover or whatever.
yeah. And definitely a big investment for anyone getting into YouTube to have a good mic
Mm.
right out of the bat.
Would you give yourself different advice? Like, if you were looking back on like your first ever video, what's like advice you would give yourself?
Um, I feel like I've, especially since starting the chunk count, I've at least learned one major thing every single video that I put out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like a lot of the times I've had an idea in my head and I couldn't quite make it. I just didn't have like the ability to at the time. Um, so I guess what I'd give myself would be to not try and like overdo things or try to do something without like the knowledge of how to do it. I think I would have updated my software a bit earlier if I
Mm-hmm.
had the hindsight. I use Premiere Pro now.
Yeah, I
Um,
use Premiere Pro too.
I used some free editing software way back when, and yeah, just Photoshop and just Adobe products have been good to me. So I honestly wish I did that sooner as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just the learning thing comes with time, and I know like I'll keep getting better and better at it. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
there's not particularly like one piece of advice as far as editing that I could give myself, but just having the better tools earlier would have been a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
advantage.
That makes sense. And like at least you said like you've learned at least like one major thing every video. I think that's the biggest thing to take away. Like even though I've been doing content creation for such a long time with RS3 and stuff, I used what I learned from RS3, etc., into the chunk video, my first video. But then there's a
Mhm.
lot of things like chunk specific or old school specific or whatever that I've still learned from that first episode and tried to improve on and just take away like, okay, I could have done this better, or like this was a little bit bad flow wise. I could tell this story better, and just taking those things and just continuously improving on them is the main thing. Video's never going to be perfect. It's never going to potentially be great for every single person that watches. But as long as you can make the majority of people watch, like, enjoy it and feel like their time has been spent well, then
Mhm.
that's all you can really do as a content creator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if your concept is good and you have decent mic quality and like decent video quality, like you're gonna just get views on the video, and it's just what you do from there that really takes it a step above.
Yeah.
Um, one last question.
Hmm.
We can wrap it
Oh, wait,
up.
we've been talking for ages. I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
realize. It's been like an hour and a half. That's crazy.
Um, any like IRL hobbies, things that you like to do outside of RuneScape, outside of content creation, that you'd like to share?
I've had a lot of hobbies over time. They continuously change, but I think the one thing that I've always had that's never changed is like board games and stuff. I really enjoy like socializing with friends, either like round their house or my house or whatever. And we just have a bunch of different board games that we just cycle through and stuff. And me and the wife will have people over and we'll play board games, have fun. And I think that's like my favorite hobby. Like if I could choose anything, like if I have a day that I could just do whatever, I'd just invite a couple of friends around and play some board games and have a laugh, because it's always so chill. Because I think one of the things that can be annoying with like socializing is sometimes there's like a quiet moment and then you feel a bit awkward or whatever.
Mhm.
But with a board game in front of you, quiet moments are fine because you can think about the board game or whatever, or talk about the board game. And then it breaks up those like little bits of silence. And then you always have something cool to talk about in between. And it just keeps that really, really fun. So I play like a bunch of different board games. I really enjoyed Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne. Uh, what else is there? There's like, hmm, trying to think of the ones we played the most. Settlers of Catan's pretty
Mm.
good. Do you play board games?
Yeah, a few. Actually, I for a couple years I had a bunch of friends that were also really into it. So like at least once a week we would be playing board games, and card games too.
Oh, card games are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there was actually one that is called Skull King. I don't think it's very popular, but it's one that our friends brought round, and then we bought after playing it once, and then everyone we've like taught it, they've went out and bought it because they've
Mm.
enjoyed it so much. So we've spread the word of like Skull King, and it's been super fun. So that one I'm like super addicted to at the moment. That card game, super
Skulking.
enjoyable.
Is that like a play on words, like skulking as like a
No,
skull
no,
king or
no. There's a
skulking?
card called Skull King. It's like pirates. So it used to be played
Okay.
with like playing cards, where you would have 1 to 10, and then you'd have the picture cards or whatever.
Mm.
But they like made their own uh cards of it now, and you can buy it. It's like 15 quid or whatever, but it has like 1 to 14, and then has different colors. Then it has like pirates, mermaids, a skull king, and then you have to, before you play the round, you have to say how many you're going to win, and you have to win that many, otherwise you like lose points. So it's not about
Mm.
necessarily winning everything, it's like getting what you said you're going to get and play it in a way that you get that amount. So you could say like 0, and you can intentionally lose like every hand if you play it correctly. So it's like really fun because you get a lot of points for that, etc. So it's just a really cool way of playing. And you can also mess up other people. So if they say 0, you could like play a card to like make
Mm.
them win or whatever, and it gets really fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'll have to check
Mm.
that one out.
Do you have any games that you really enjoy playing? Like any favorites?
A little bit of poker,
Hmm.
a little bit of like Monopoly. We used to play all the time.
The
The
classic.
classic, yeah. Yahtzee. For some reason, like Yahtzee's kind of like a luck game, but I like always win on that one.
Yahtzee is cool. I
Um,
remember playing that a lot back in the day with like my parents.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been a few years since I've had that friend group that we always played
Mm.
board games. It's a little unfortunate, but um, yeah, I've kind of forgotten a lot of the card games. I'm usually not the one like who
Did you
knows
ever
the
play
games.
Rummy?
Yeah, Rummy. That's actually one of the ones we used to play. Yeah, think
It's
about
so
it.
good
Yeah.
because they have like Rummy Cub, which is like a tile version of it.
Hmm.
They like made it so it's the card game but with tiles, and I love that as well. It's so much fun because there's so much like thought into it, right?
Mm.
You have to really think about your moves and play them out.
Yeah,
Those type of games are really fun.
yeah. I'm not the best strategist, but I still have fun anyway.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters, right? You don't have to win to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Although winning's fun.
Hmm. Yeah. Let me see if I can remember. We had this one pretty fun game that was called Exploding Kittens.
Oh yeah, I've played that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's become pretty popular now, but
yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's just kind of like a quirky game because I mean, got kittens like blowing up and stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the people that made that have like a load of different iterations of fun, quirky games now. We have
yeah,
one called Happy Little Dinosaurs, and it's kind of like the whole exploding kittens, and the fun of it is that they're happy little dinosaurs, but then like a disaster happens, and it's like really silly disasters, and then you have to like play out a hand and stuff.
yeah.
It's really fun.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to get more people around to do board games more often. Was there anything else you had in mind for IRL hobbies?
Um, we just got a doggo. Like we have a puppy now,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's just fun playing with the dog, right?
Hmm.
And going out on a nice walk with the wife and having the doggo and just enjoying ourselves, right? Enjoying our time.
Yeah,
So
that's a good reason to get
I
outside too. Is
yeah,
having a
exactly.
dog. 'Cause-
Motivates you to get outside because you're like, I can't leave them indoors.
yeah, yeah, they always want to go outside. So
Yeah.
reason to do it every day. Nice. What kind
Yeah,
of dog?
definitely. She's a cockapoo, cocker spaniel poodle mix.
Mm. Is that like a bit smaller or?
Yeah, she's like a medium dog.
Mm,
Probably gets around like 10 kg or so. So like not massive, not
yeah.
tiny, but like in the middle. And then she just has like the coat of a poodle where it goes like a bit curly and quite long, and
Mm.
then her ears are like cocker spaniel and they're like floppy. So she's just really adorable, especially when she runs. She's like Dumbo, and the ears are just flopping while she's running.
Yeah, that's great. Love that. um, my family's always had golden retrievers.
Oh, golden retrievers are amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't have a bad golden retriever, honestly.
I agree.
But yeah, it was awesome to talk to you, man. I really
Yeah, thank
appreciate
you
you
for
coming
having me
on.
on. I do appreciate it.
Sure. Is there any shout outs you want to give? Maybe some other lesser known creators or just people from your Twitch streams or YouTube comments?
Shout out to that Agile Tom guy. You know, he's pretty cool. He had me on a podcast.
Appreciate it.
I guess like obviously people that inspire me and stuff are people like Mr. Josh isn't gaming because he is in fact gaming. But
Mm-hmm.
I really like his like editing style and stuff, and being able to talk to him and have him help me with videos and things is like really nice because he could just not go ahead and help me and be like keeping everything to himself, you know, because it
Mm.
works for him. Like, how could he have other creators like, you know, stealing the limelight or whatever? But no, like everyone's so wholesome and awesome that
Mm.
I've spoke to. I really like Skeldor as like one of the smaller creators. Like he's really, really,
Yeah.
really cool. I enjoy his like axe stuff and his chunk man that he'll be bringing back one day, you know.
One day,
Um,
yeah.
I remember watching him when I was like an RS3 player and stuff, and it's fun to see all of the different starts and places. And then yeah, just my wife, I guess, because she helps me behind the scenes when I'm like not feeling like X, Y, or Z. She'll be there, right? So she's
Mm.
the constant in my life, and the new puppy as well, right?
There you
It's
go.
nice to have like a little bit of the mental,
Yeah.
because like you need that escape, right? And my
Yeah. Home
family
life
is
in
my
order
escape.
just makes
Yeah,
everything else better.
definitely.
That's awesome. Well, I'll be tagging your YouTube and Twitch in the comments. Is there anything else you want me to tag? Do you have a Twitter or
I
Discord
do
or
have a
anything?
Twitter, yeah, but it's fine. I don't go on Twitter too often, so yeah, just YouTube and Twitch is fine.
More
Thank
of a
you.
lurker on Twitter.
Yeah, mostly, or like I'll retweet cool things here and there, but that's about it. Yeah.
That's kind of mostly what I do too. But
Twitter's just like so bad nowadays. I don't like going on it too much because there's just, even though you're like, I'm not interested in this, it comes up with so much stuff that's just so annoying. I just want to look at RuneScape stuff, and all of this
yeah,
crap keeps popping up, and
the
you're just like,
for you
oh,
is mostly not for you. I feel.
yeah, exactly. It's so
But
annoying.
yeah, I'll give you a follow on there. I don't think I follow you on Twitter, but
No,
I'll
thanks.
plug that. Why not?
Sure, sounds good. Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's been a
Alright.
really fun chat. Hopefully, people enjoyed watching, and if they made it this far, comment Agile Tom smells. True.
I smell. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Either
didn't
good
say
or
good or
bad.
bad.
Either
Yeah,
way.
see. So I didn't say
Yeah.
that's for the viewer to depict however they want.
Yeah, well, we'll get to see who makes it this far in the video that way too. All
Yeah,
right. Appreciate you, man. It's nice
yeah.
having
Thank you.
you. I thank you
Have
everybody
a
for
good day.
watching and peace.
Bye.